Hey all, Matt here with Bobcat Bonsai, and today we're going to go through and do a simple forest design. I just thought I'd bring you all along with me, so let's get to it. So to start it all out, it's going to be a little trident maple forest. The trees are going to consist of 2- and 3-year-old trees. We're going to go with 4 trees, as you can see here, and a focal rock. I'm going to go with a pot that's kind of similar in color to the trees when they're in their summer bloom with that beautiful green. So let's take a look here at the pot that we're going to be using. Just set the design right there for you for now. So here's the pot. I believe this one is 9.5 inches across, I believe. But it's got this beautiful green. And can you take a guess on who I got this pot from? It's Taurus Elise from over at Blue Nose Trading. Love her pots, as we can see. Yes, beautiful. She already put the mesh in for me, which is awesome. Saves me one step. So that's what we've got as far as the pot. Then we're going to put a rock in it as a focal point. It's just going to be a focal point in the forest. And I thought this rock would be absolutely gorgeous for inside here. I hope you agree. But let's see. It's a little bit heavy. I think the initial view is going to end up being the front for the rock. And at some point, I may even actually plant like a smaller one up at the top and let it begin to work its roots downward. I don't know, just a thought. But it kind of reminds me of like a mountain from like right here. It's kind of got like multiple mountain peaks sticking up on it. So I thought that would be a pretty cool little focal point for inside here. So let's head out and take a look at our trees. Oh no, I have quite the collection of little trident maple trees out here, and they're actually leafing out very, very well. So we're gonna have to be real careful with what we do with the roots today, due to the fact of all the leafing going on. We don't wanna, if the roots are white, we're not gonna mess with them too much. Otherwise, we'll go to town and we'll work with it and get as much done as possible. So let me get you set up and we'll dig up some of these trees. So I almost forgot something important here. I do want to throw the date up here for today. I forget what day it is, but I need to put the date. I believe it's March 29th. I'll be within a day or two, so hey, at least I'll have an idea. I did this around March 29th. So this video is not going to come out for a little while afterwards, but there's so much to do and so little time to try to get everything done that sometimes the videos just don't make it out when you want them to. What do we need to do first here? So I'm going to grab some wire out real quick because I'm going to get this whole pot set up. And this video may end up becoming a two-part video just due to the fact that even as a simple forest, it can take a while to go through and show something like this step by step. So there's that. There's that can become an issue. So this is all going to be tie down wire here. And I guess I could have cut this all and then brought you guys into the video afterwards, but it's a little late now. Already started. Alrighty. So all I'm going to do here is for these ones that have two holes a little bit closer together, I'm just going to run two of them up and through. Nice and easy like. So we're getting these ties pulled through. And then for these ones, what I could have done is left a lot of wire here and ran it through, but I opted not to do that. So I'm just going to put a little loop on the bottom, similar to when we're putting in our drainage screen. And I'm just going to feed that and just pull it off to the side. That way it has what it needs to tie down the tree, or if it's not long enough, it has what it needs for me to get to it, to tie on more wire. Yes, I've done that before where I've ended up using wire to tie on the wire because I just didn't have enough wire. So we're going to start out with some of our chunkier soil here and just put that all out and on here. And I'm going to need a lot, so I probably could have afforded to sift through that again, but I did not, so that's kind of where I'm at on that one now. Let me get a few more scoops here. Somebody failed you guys on being prepared for this. Okay. So now we've got this nice coarse layer down. And now that I laid that, I'm like, man, I may have just put way too much in here. I didn't want that much. I just wanted a light layer. Sorry, guys. I wanted to have it so that I can get a nice layer of a finer soil underneath it, if that makes any sense here. So we're now going to take a mixture of bonsai soil and regular soil that I'm finishing remixing right now because it dried out a little bit, so now I got to add water and remix it. So this is going to have some organic material in, helps feed the trees and everything, so that's kind of pretty important. Yeah, we want to keep the trees happy. Let me add a little bit more water, do a little bit more mix. Alrighty. So this is more or less what we've got here. It's bonsai soil mixed with an organic soil. Does it look pretty? Not to most people, but for me, I find it works great for what I need it to do, so that's why I use it. Let's get a little bit of water added in here to the dry soil. A little bit onto the rock as well. Just get some good moisture everywhere. How about that? So we got some good moisture added. It's now running out and doing what it needs to do here. So the rock is definitely a little bit bigger than what we were thinking about in the picture over here, and that's okay. It really is. For the first tree we're going to throw in here, we're actually going to take our biggest tree here, and I'm going to get rid of this root down here because that one's going to really serve me no purpose whatsoever other than being in my way. And it's got a lot of other roots to work with as well. So these ones, fortunately enough, actually rooted very well in the ground, and I appreciate them for doing that for me because it makes my life way easier when they root the way I need them to. So this little guy we're actually going to take and just kind of get backing into here. All right, and we are leaving as much root as possible. And we're just opening up the roots to make sure we get in nice and close to the trunk here. I think we're going to want to change this because that's going to be right in the middle of the rock. So we're going to want to place it more over here at this angle. And what this is going to allow it to do is to dance around the rock and have that tilt like what it's shown in the picture, but still allow me to get all the roots pushed into the soil. So we actually want to go under this knuckle because that knuckle is going to end up being a focal point then. And we're just going to give it a nice little twist. So it's not super tight, but it's a little bit tight. I'm just going to take the extra wire there. I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to push it down. So that one's pushed down to there. So then for the next one, we're going to want another tree in the back. And that tree, sorry, I'm just trying to push that angle a little bit more that I'm going for here. So the rock's going to end up sitting backing into here, and then we're going to see that pushing out through the edge. So I'm not showing you up top more right now. We'll deal with that at a later time. Right now we're just worried about the base. The tops will probably come back and trim up after they're done going through a full leaf out and they actually push down to the roots, because right now none of the roots had white tips, which means it is not in full leaf out mode, even though some of these have leaves that are pretty wide open. So interesting, very interesting, but that's what it is. Let's see, what else do we got back here? Okay, so we got this little guy. This little guy has some cool movement down through the roots and up through the tree. So this little one we are also going to put in the back here. And this one I want to climb away in this direction. So this one doesn't have many roots at all, which means I cannot afford to take off anything. And that's okay. That is perfectly okay. We can work with it. We're just gotta... It's when it becomes important to pay attention to what the tree is giving you. And what the tree is giving me is not a lot right now. But that's okay. Unfortunately, this higher root is going to have to go away. But that's not much of a root, so we're not losing too much. We will end up mounding the soil up in the middle, or bring it up almost like a little dome that's going to wrap up into it. So there is going to be that. So now that brings out these two right here, and we'll be able to push it a little bit more then as we begin to get everything settled and the dirt, and we'll really begin to move them to get them exactly where they need to be. So now we need to get a little guy up and in here and one up and in on this side. I know Xavier and Yellow recently did a video on forest and how you don't want to try and make it symmetrical, but I made the mistake of picking 4 trees, and trying to make 4 trees not look like a box is really, really hard. So when you go to make a forest, remember, odd numbers are probably for the best. So you can clump 3 together on one side and 2 on another, or 2 on one side and 1 on the other. Just keep the numbers odd. As soon as you go even, things begin to become symmetrical, and that's when things go wrong for you. So just a tidbit of a thought here from after the fact. We got this little baby guy here. This one I am going to throw in here as well. This root's a little bit long, so we are going to trim that one back. I know my root scissors are a little bit rusty. Not a little bit, they're a lot of bit rusty. This root's beginning to grow upwards, so we're going to actually cut that one too. You would figure, since I make tools, I would do a better job taking care of them. But I did not do a great job taking care of these. And I didn't spend the money on stainless. So there's that option as well. So some of these roots are going to end up being forced underneath this big rock in the center, and we're going to have to work our way back through it. So now we're going to add in the last tree here. And this little guy's got some long roots and a really good looking trunk. And this one, once again, we're going to try to force this all in without messing with any of the roots if we can. If there's high ones up there, yes, we are going to get those off. All right. So now we've got all the trees in, and we just need to add up some soil now. So I'm going to pull the rock back out, and I'm going to begin the messy process of taking the soil and feeding it into it. Today is like one of the first not so windy days. It's a little bit warm, and I appreciate the warmth a little bit. I'm not a super big fan of the warm, but I appreciate it a little bit. So let me know in my comments what you think about these videos, as far as going through and doing like a simple design process on how I do it. Now, this isn't necessarily a how-to for everybody. This is a how-to how I do. if that makes any sense. I know that's not really funny, but I thought it was funny. This is how I do when I'm designing things, and I just want to share with you guys my thought process, because I feel like over the past year I've really let you guys down as far as releasing good content full of things that I do. And I feel like I just haven't released much at all for you. So for that, I apologize. I'm trying to get better about it. It's hard. There's always a lot going on. You all have a lot going on, so the time you take to watch me, and honestly, all the tree masons feel the same. We talk quite often. We all appreciate the time that you guys take to watch our videos, because we all know everybody's busy, and being busy definitely makes things a little bit more difficult. But we're all in the same boat, so no excuses for me here on why I'm not getting you guys good content. It's something I got to start doing better, and I will start doing better. But for now, we'll just keep loading this soil up around. I'm hoping I made enough here. I think I did. We may do a small layer of fines across the top. That's a great way. If you like organic material and you don't like when people say, why'd you use organic material? Go ahead and throw some fine just normal bonsai soil on top. That's a quick way to trick people into thinking that you're using just plain bonsai soil. For me, I don't mind. I know what works for me, and that's why I do it. Some of these guys just have way more discipline when it comes to making sure their trees are watered and everything. And that's the biggest reason on why I don't use a lot of just plain bonsai soil. I'm not as well disciplined as the rest of them. Alright, let's make sure we're getting it packed in around here. So even though I'm not going to be trimming anything off the top today, I am going to still move these into a shaded location, because I don't want them to take a beating from the sun after I just went through and did all this root work on them. That's something I don't want to do to them, because that never ends up in a great scenario here. So to get the full picture here, we are actually going to have to take this outside of my greenhouse to do a turnaround on it. And I think you're really going to like it. I think it actually is a super cool looking tree. It's massive. Like above these trunks down here, this is a massive tree up top. So let's get out, do a little look-see around real quick. Alright, so here it is all finished up. Did I do all right so far with getting it somewhat close to the picture? Not exactly what I wanted, but as it gets set in here a little bit better, I'll be able to get some solid wire and really move it around. So when I say this thing is big, and I'll have to cut these branches back at some point, I mean, it is big, and I'm going to cut these branches back at some point. But right now, we're going to let the leaves all push all the way out and force that energy back into the roots and begin to develop our little trident maple forest. Thank you all for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, you should subscribe to my channel. And if you really enjoy my content, you should turn on the bell notification and get notified every time I release a new video. Thank you.